Hey, Pro Organizers. This is Melissa Klug, and you are listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. Professional organizing changed my entire life. After 20 years of working at huge companies, I started working for myself, opened an organizing business, and grew it to six figures. And now I spend all day, every day here at Pro Organizer Studio teaching professional organizers around the world how to grow the business of their dreams. I'm so excited that you're here listening, and I am ready to get started. Okay, it is the last episode of our wonderful week of the Cabri Carpenter. If you have missed the other three episodes, please go back and listen to them. But I wanted to thank Cabri for being a huge part of what we do every single day at Pro Organizer Studio and for sharing her wisdom with us. I am going to do a little bit of a loop of part of the last podcast because we move that into what we're talking about today. Basically, we're going to start by talking about how you can not panic in your business. I know it's hard, but sometimes we reach those panic moments, and Cabri and I are talking about it. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. We adore you, and if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. hello@proorganizerstudio.com. All right, here we go. But have you seen that reel it's actually one of my favorite things. It's someone who's, "Man, I'm exhausted," and then they're like, "Well, have you had enough water today? No. Have you exercised? No. Have you slept? No. Have you eaten well? No." It's like this series of things. What could you be possibly doing that is contributing to this?
Mhm.
That's one that I will say too is when people say, "I'm slow. It's the slowest time I've ever had." When you start asking, "Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this?" They're like, "No, I haven't done any of those things." So, we also have more time than we think we do to be
Mhm.
doing some of those things that we are just sitting here in a panic mode, which I understand, but you're in a panic mode, and so your body is not going, "Hey, there are some things I could do to help solve this problem." And
Yes, yes.
that's one of our jobs to push people on
Yes.
is, "Have you done the things?"
Side caveat, because I would not be doing my job with this podcast if I don't at least mention this. We teach organizers how not to panic when those slow times come, or
Correct.
how to set up package pricing or proposal pricing or different ways to price yourself so that you can create a little bit of nest egg if you randomly get sick, if your team
Yes.
randomly gets sick, if you have a family emergency. And those are things that, again, not being talked about out in the real world or in the business world. It does not always have to be a panic in those situations. You can
Correct.
create systems where you are selling packages that you might not work until January, like in Kim's situation, but she's still getting paid in December.
Yes.
There's opportunities for those. And so, sorry, had to throw that in there because I feel
No,
like
I
it's
like that.
important.
That's a good segue actually, because what I will frequently tell people is take one day to panic and just have a
Mhm.
freak out. Okay. Take a day, go take yourself out and get dinner or like whatever you need to do. Have
Mhm.
the freak out day, but then we're going to say, what are we going to do to go fight this? We are never, ever going to have a time where we go, yeah, that's tough for you. Good luck. I had way back in one of my corporate days, I worked for this guy who he was the vice president of the entire division. His job was to do everything in the division, and you would bring him a problem, a legitimate problem, and he would look at you and he would listen and he'd go, and then at the end he would laugh. This was 100% of the time. He'd laugh and he'd go, "I just don't know how you get yourself in those situations. Good luck with that." And you were dismissed. He never helped ever. That is not what we do in our group. We are going to be like, "Totally understand why you feel that way. Here is what we want you to think about. Here are actions we suggest that you take. Here are the things," like, we're never gonna go, "Good luck with that problem." And that's one of the things we wanted to talk about is there are a lot of people that don't realize we have this podcast and a lot of people listen to the podcast and they don't know, like, we offer a lot of different things to help people in their business because we don't want people to be on the struggle bus. We
Mhm.
do not want you to not have clients coming in. We do not want you to be like, "What am I supposed to be doing here? How am I supposed to do XYZ thing?" We help you with the XYZ things. It's really important to us.
And it's, again, this is probably one of those things I get super passionate about. It's exciting. It's exciting to have feedback with a business owner who may be doing things differently than you would. And you get to say, hey, that's a good idea, but have you done it this way? Or have you made sure you're planting your seeds and communicating the value that you bring for this? Or maybe you have a service that is super niche, unique to you. Let's call it like homeschooling moms for dummies, like
Yeah.
moms who are homeschooling but managing a household. Like you may have this super simple thing, but you never talk about it on your website, in your email newsletter, on social media. And we're just like, hey, promote this. Put it
Yes.
out there. If we don't see it when we look at your website or your social media channels, none of your potential clients are seeing it. And
Yep.
this could be a very quick influx of some cash and teach them how to do the thing or do the Zoom call with them or give them a digital course or there's so many opportunities to make money.
So many. And going back to talking about who you are, and we will help you think through all of these things. Are you a mom of a kid with special needs? There is room out there for you. Are you an ADHD mom? Are you an ADHD non mom? This is another
Mhm.
thing that's really important. Maybe you are, we talk a lot about serving moms in this group. Maybe you are not a mom, and maybe you are not married, and maybe you are not all of these things that you think everybody is. You need to talk about that too, because there
Mhm.
are a lot of people out there that are like, hey, I want the person who is very aligned with where I am. I don't want the organizer that's going to come talk to me about my kids and their Legos, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like for you. It is very much wide open to very specific niches that you have, but you've got to talk about who you are.
It's your secret sauce. It's the magic that makes you
This,
who you are and your business what it is. And it's going to be the thing that past website copy and social media graphics and all the other things, that's going to be the thing that they're like, yep, take my money. You're hired.
yeah. And that is why we do what we do. And that's why we want people to know a little bit more. We're doing this partially because we want people to know we offer a lot of these services. Whatever you are struggling with in your organizing business, we are passionate about helping you find a way out of it. And we're going to do that with a combination of ideas, but it's also going to be, like you said, holding people accountable, a little bit of tough love, a little bit of have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? You are not going to be alone. And that's one thing that I think is incredibly important is you have got to know that you have people that are out there on your side that want you. So I might want you to succeed more than you want you to succeed.
That is a real thing that I sometimes have to
Yeah.
detach myself from. When we are
Yes.
working with specific organizers who you're coaching and training and you're walking through the trenches with them, and you have to step out of the trench, you have to shower
Yes.
off, and you be like,
Yeah.
they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I have
Yep.
helped as far as I can help. I can stand here and love on them from the sidelines. That's a real thing.
Yes. Absolutely. So I am very grateful though, like, even if there are people who decide that all they ever wanna do is listen to the podcast and they don't need any additional help, they just love listening to the podcast. I'm so grateful for everyone that pays attention and that are just trying to make their businesses better, like, legitimately. Like, I get
Mhm.
emails from people that are like, "Oh my gosh, I just love the podcast so much," and first of all, thank you for sending those because every once in a while, you just think, "I might be talking to myself." And so it's very enjoyable to hear. There are people who, like, really appreciate hearing what we have to say. But if you are in a place where you feel like, "Hey, I need that extra level," whether you've been in business 5 years, we have people in our group that have been in business for 20 years and still are learning and growing in our group. If you are brand new, there is a place for you, and Cabri and I are happy to talk to you live. I rarely talk to people on the phone, but I will talk to people. I don't think the phone should be used as a phone. That's another podcast. But I love talking to people about give me the lay of the land of what you're dealing with and let me figure out if I have a way to help you. Because, like I said, I just want people to succeed. And
I
I think both of us, my life has been changed because of organizing my professional life, my personal life, all of those things. And I am just so passionate about talking to people about if this is something that is in your heart and you really feel passionate about, I want you to figure out a way to do it. The end.
the end. No, we're not done. Time out.
Okay.
We're not
Just kidding,
done.
not the end.
You don't
JK.
get you don't get to call the end. I'm calling the end today. Sorry about you.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so we talked about growth and evolution, Pro
Yes.
Organizer Studio. So let's talk about, and I'm going to let you be the storyteller here, but let's talk about, we've talked about just things in organizing industry as a whole, but like where is Pro Organizer Studio, Inspired Organizer, the Organizing Essentials course, the Google Business Manager.
They
So
shouldn't
hard.
have changed the name. The new
It's
name
so hard.
is hard to say, and I don't like it.
Let's talk about where Pro Organizer Studio as a whole is and some of
Yeah,
the other little pieces of that, what that looks like over over the next year or so.
yeah. So a lot of people find us because of the podcast. We have
Mhm.
people that, the podcast has been their entree into organizing or thinking about an organizing business and all of that. But Pro Organizer Studio, so the podcast started in 2019, but Pro Organizer Studio started with Jen in 2016.
Mm.
She had an organizing business and she saw there was a gap of education about how to start this really great business in a great industry. And so she was really the OG of teaching. But Jen started Pro Organizer Studio. She had a small set of students in the beginning. It has grown really quite tremendously over the years, which we are so grateful for people that put the trust in us. But we have to evolve just like any business. And now I am taking the mantle of making sure that we can move into the next 10 years of the organizing industry and do that in a way that really helps women figure out what kind of business they want. So it used to just be that the Pro Organizer Studio had one thing, and it was Inspired Organizer. That was the original. It's our signature. But Inspired Organizer is a business building course. It teaches you a system for growing and organizing business. That was always the one product that we had. One of the reasons that Jen hired me originally was because I have a very particular passion for actually organizing with clients. I love talking about organizing. I love actually organizing. But one of my first jobs was to start something called Organizing Essentials. And that was something that people had asked for a long time. So it's not about business building. It is just about what the heck do I do when the client opens the door and there is pure chaos behind that door. We all know those people. So that is something that I am super, super proud of because it was really something that I was able to get. It was part of a creative outlet for me, but really it was something that people had been asking us for a long time is I want an organizing course. I want you to teach me what do I do with clients? How do I do certain things? How do I design a closet? What if a client asks me to do this? What if a client needs me to organize this? We really get into the deep details of actually organizing. Then we also know that there are other parts of organizing that need education. So, one of the things that people really struggle with is their CRM. So, we teach people if you want to use Honeybook, but you are like, hey, remember, we might not be super techy, or we just want to do that little easy done for you button. We will teach you how to do your CRM from top to bottom. We also are starting a lot of new things with I just call them mini courses. So the first one that I tried out was about Google Business Profile, and it was a $19 course that taught you every single thing you could possibly need to know about Google Business Profile and how to use it in your business. So what we want is a whole suite of products, a whole suite of things that will help you with your organizing business, whether you need a little bit of help or whether you want a lot more help and a lot more support and a community behind you. So, we are trying to learn and grow what our audience needs. And I am always open to emails, DMs, anything like that, talking about, hey, I love this, but have you ever thought about this? Because our job is to serve the organizing industry and make sure that we are offering everything out there that helps you with your business.
I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't mention this, but the ways that you have created the mini courses, they can kind of build on each other as new things come up. If Google completely shifts tomorrow what that looks like, or they decide to make Google Business Profile a social media platform with a feed, and like they're already kind of pushing towards that, I have no doubt that you will be on the cutting edge of here's the new updates, here's what they changed, here's what this looks like, here's how you can utilize it in your business, here's how you can optimize it to find new clients. And I think that those things are really important because you pay attention to those things and you know them. You are techie, you are very techie,
Yeah.
and you're always on the cutting edge of whatever that new next thing might be, whether it's a platform or a CRM or even just a strategy and technique. Like I have seen you talk about something in the group, and then 2 weeks later, there's a module in the course talking about
Yes.
XYZ that maybe we had not ever thought about to talk about previously, you know? And so it covers like ways to grow your business. It covers that people aspect. What do I do when I'm actually standing there? And maybe this is the first client and I don't know what I'm actually supposed to do. But it
Yeah.
also covers the grow a team, add a CRM, how to build my business. How it is an over encompassing resource when it comes to ways that organizers can continue to grow and thrive. And I think too, like it's important to mention, you give so much free advice, whether that is like
You.
Instagram DMs or in the Facebook group or on the podcast. Like you give so much. And if I wish I don't have a magic ball, but if I had just like a set of binoculars that I could hand to somebody and be like, just take a peek inside the paid stuff. If you're getting all this for free, take a look at that and think about how much value is
Yeah.
there. It's
I don't gatekeep anything
mhm.
in our inside our group. There's nothing that's gate example, I love doing presentations. I would talk to a rutabaga about organizing, okay? I don't know why I picked rutabaga because I'm not sure I could pick one of those out in the grocery store. But anyway, I'm really passionate about that. And so there are people that are in our group that are like, oh my gosh, I was just asked to speak at a thing. I don't even know what to do. I'm like, here is a whole presentation that I have already put together for you. You can use all the slides. Someone on their social media the other day like said, "Oh, giving a presentation." I go, "Oh, that's my slide." Like literally, you just take my stuff and you can just repurpose it rather than rebuilding it on your own. And that's the biggest thing for me is especially about Inspired Organizer. I feel so strongly that, like, you only have to have one client that you ever get from one client pays for a lifetime, literal lifetime membership in our course, and you get things all the time. So my goal would be that that this course repays you so many times you can't even do that math
Mhm.
because you whatever it is that you are needing, someone is available to give it to you. The other day, someone gave and it's not just me giving things. Someone was asking the other day about, "Hey, I really wanna focus on realtors. I really wanna do XYZ, this presentation for them." Someone goes, "I have a presentation that I give realtors. I'll send it to you. Just send me your email address." And 10 people are like, "Hey, can you send it to me?" She did. And I just think that's really beautiful. Like the people in the group are so giving of their advice, their time, their links to organizing supplies. We're not gatekeeping, the best organizing supplies. We're not gatekeeping anything in our group. And that is one thing that I just absolutely love about it.
I agree. And so it's been we haven't even talked. We have not even scratched the surface on the community aspect. We
It's the
we
best
talked about
part.
this Facebook group, but when I say the Facebook group is active and constantly people are
Very.
posting new things, whether it's, hey, look over my website and tell me if you think I should fix something, or hey, I have this client that has red flags. How do I tell them I don't want to work with them? Or hey, my sales have gone down. I don't know what's wrong. And maybe I'm doing consults wrong. There's so much information in the group that is a complete separate entity from the course itself. But there is power in community. And I don't know what episode it is, but Sarah and I did episode it's been
It's early.
years.
Yeah, it's an
It's
early
yes.
episode. Yeah.
It's years. But for the reason that we even did that episode is because we were matched as accountability partners. So
Yes.
that's another aspect of the community that you can get matched with somebody who is in the same stage of business or same niche, or you can get grouped with somebody who will help hold you accountable. And that to us was huge.
I think that's another thing that helps with your longevity is
Mhm.
finding people who know what you're going through, the good things and the tough things.
Yes.
And that community is seriously it's so and by the way, we do fun things too. Like on Fridays, I like to ask people, tell me good things that happened to you this week, even if it's just I had a good cup of coffee today. Like it does not have to be I had the biggest client I've ever had in my entire life, right? But then
Mhm.
there are people who share, this was my first $10,000 month. Or I just had my first consult with a total stranger, someone who wasn't a friend or a family member.
Yeah.
We celebrate big things and we celebrate small things because they're all freaking important. They're all important.
I really think like the community piece of it is huge. Like the modules and the actual education is a big thing. And that's the piece that people want. That's the
Sure.
piece that you're going to sell and put a price
That's what they
on.
pay for, right?
Exactly. But the added benefit of the group and the community, that's your thing that's priceless. You couldn't put a number on that because that's how important it is.
Yeah. Also, we're fun. I
We
mean,
are so much fun.
we're so much
Like
fun.
I was telling a really personal story in the group the other day and everybody was dying. I don't want to share it on here, but this will not make this a family friendly podcast. But it was just so funny because everybody was like, oh my gosh, totally been there. Or they're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, how did you handle that? And I'm like,
Right.
this is what I need. You get the struggles behind running a business, being an organizer, the things you see with clients in their home, like y'all get it. And so it's good to have those people that you can come back to and bounce ideas off of or ask, help for or just have a community with.
We also do a live Zoom once a month. So if you have something that you need live in person, like face to face coaching on, we do that too. And sometimes you get some great stories from that. I will send people, if you email me and you want to see an example of one, I will be happy to send you one. But we had one, I can't remember if this is for organizing essentials or IO now that I come to think of it, but we do a Zoom once a month for both courses. And there was a woman who talked about she had a police officer that was supervising her organizing client because they were getting divorced and that they needed supervision. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, we're going to have to tell, please, let's back up. Rewind. You are glossing over a lot. Let's tell that story, right? And then, so we were able to talk about it. By the way, it had a happy ending. Everything was fine. But there is nothing, when I say there is nothing that you can bring to that group that we will not talk about and talk through, anything, bring it up and we will be there for you. And we might, like you said, we might care about the outcome more than you do.
Oh, multiple times, in some months where I like see a post and then a couple days later, I'm like, I don't ever know what
Yeah.
happened there. And I have to go back and find it and be like, hello, can you please update us?
Can we
Because
please have an update? We need a
I'm
story
very,
update.
I'm very curious. I need to know all the things.
Yes, I love knowing all the things. Side note, I really want to start, this would not be proper, but I really want to start a podcast that is all anonymous of like people's client stories.
You
I
can do it
understand.
anonymously because we know your voice.
Yeah, I'd have to do something different,
Mhm.
but I want people to come on and tell their craziest client stories. 'Cause there are some good ones out there, man.
There is. There is.
This is a never a dull moment kind of work in a great way
We got to add it to our list of future things that we, continually
that I
add to.
don't have time for.
I know. We always have these conversations. Oh, we should do this. Just kidding.
None of us have time for that,
Yeah.
only if we didn't need to sleep. So this is, and we want to come on here. This is not a sales pitch by any stretch of the imagination. This is just, we want people, we've done a lot of work of relaunching, rebranding, this is kind of a renaissance of Pro Organizer Studio as we move into the next few years. And we just want to tell people we have resources out there. So if there's something that you are struggling with, come to us, ask some questions because we have things that will help you. And we want you to succeed and we want you to have that ROI because we are financially savvy. We care about your finances. We want you to have successful businesses. I want people to pay themselves. I want people to have the goals of whatever their financial goals are or their personal goals are for their business. I want you to go succeed in those and I want to help you get there. So,
I don't think you could wrap that up any better.
well, thanks. See, she's a good hype woman, you guys. You need
I
her on
am
your side.
I am super glad that you mentioned not a sales pitch, but also I'm not lying. You give so much information for free. I would be doing you and other organizers a disservice if I did not be like, hey, you need this. It has so much value in it.
Thank you.
I don't
We
know
do
how to
sell things. We
do
do. I
what?
mean, like, I teach people how to sell things, right? Like, I want you to sell your organizing business, not sell. I want you to get clients is what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. I also would not be doing my job if I didn't say, I also have things that I sell that can help you.
Yes.
Just like organizing services help people. And trust me, I'm a lot less expensive than organizing services. A
True.
lot.
True. I
I
don't think
charge a lot less money for my services than you do for yours. So,
yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. So the wrap up is Pro Organizer Studio has lots of things to offer, lots of changes coming. Cabri and I are going to be out there talking about it on social media. We are going to be talking about it all over the place, and we are open for questions, comments, unsolicited advice, feedback, phone calls, DMs, emails, whatever it looks like. We are here because we want you to succeed.
No phone calls, but all the other
Nope.
things are open and available. And honestly, too, this is another thing of sometimes we have those people who have zero interest in purchasing a course, or maybe
Totally.
they're not going to become an organizer. They just really love organizing. They will ask some of the like most off the wall questions that us as organizers are like, well, man, we haven't thought about that. Like, we
Yeah.
need to create a resource for that, or we need to, talk about this a little bit more. And so, even feedback kind of from the outside world whether you're on the fence, whether you're already an organizer, like the feedback, the questions you ask, like those give us more insight into the life of an organizer and ways that might need to be connected to some help or some resource or some missing gap. And so I love the feedback. I love going back and looking through comments. I love when some of those people that come on strong and you're like,
Yeah.
I like the passion. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Well, and our job is to serve you. And so
Yes.
and we can't possibly know every situation that's out there. So if you have something that you are going through, please bring it to us and just say, "Hey, I've never heard you guys talk about blah." I had someone the other day pitch me something on a podcast as a podcast idea. And she goes, "I just never hear you talk about this thing." And I go, "Cool. How about you come on and talk about it?" She's, "Oh, no, I didn't mean me." And I'm like, "Well, too late. It's you."
You have to
So
be careful. You start offering up advice. We're also going to make you be the one to give it to us.
right. But I appreciated that because she was just saying, "I always hear you talk about this, but I never hear you talk about this." And I go, "You're absolutely right. So let's talk about it." So
Yeah.
we are really open to hearing what the people that listen to us want to talk about. And I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. I am not just saying this. I appreciate people who listen to my voice because sometimes I go, "Why does anyone listen to my voice?" But I appreciate people that tune in every single week and that really just want to be better in their business. And so any way that we can help you, we want to be there. So
It's a great
now,
ending.
now can I say the end?
Now you can say the end.
You said you were going to say the end. So,
No, I don't think I want to. You summed
okay.
it up so well a second ago that I was like, there's no need for me here.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing more of Cabri. If you want to connect with her, she is minimized then organized. She and her team, not just her, because you have hilarious people on your team too. They are just lovely on social media. And I am just excited to see what you have going on in your organizing business this year too. And I'm happy to have a like ringside seat for it.
Oh, same in reverse. I get to be
Yes.
on the ringside seat of this, all this.
I have had so much fun on the week of Cabri, and I hope that you did as well. I am very fortunate to get Cabri every day in our Inspired Organizer group, and you can too. We would love to coach you in your business, whether you have been in business for 15 minutes or 15 years. We have wonderful things for you. Please contact me at hello@proorganizerstudio.com if you would like to have a Zoom with me about what kind of things we can do to help your business. You can join us for a brand new workshop also called How Professional Organizers Could Get Clients Without Using Social Media. That is at POroadmap.com. All right. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast, and I hope that you have an absolutely spectacular day.